Let's talk about my top 5 worst trading habits, because what affects me most likely affected you, and well, it might just help you from not getting into those habits. Let's go into the office and let's go and talk about those habits today. What's up, fellow traders? What are my 5 worst trading habits? I was actually thinking about this the other day, and what are the things that affected my trading so much in my life that I changed, and I changed my whole thought pattern, and I went into support and resistance trading through the time. But I have been doing this for a long time. But what made me change my mindset? What made me think, what were my worst habits in the stock market? Because that effectively is what would affect you in the stock market. The worst trading habits would affect you, not just me. And if I can go over those bad habits, then maybe those habits will be yours as well, and we can try and iron them out. But I'll get to the habits. Let's look at the trading system first. But before we get to that, I'd like to just let you know, guys, that trading is risky. Trading is 80% of traders lose money, besides it being a 50-50 game. 80% of traders lose money. And if you don't like losing money and you don't like risk, you shouldn't be trading. While you're here, go down to the secret blog and don't forget, pick up your free Forex book while you're there. While you're down there at the free secret blog, get your free trade every day. It's just an idea. It's not trading advice. It's there for you, and it's an idea that I put out every day for everyone. But like I said, while you're there, pick up your free Forex book. It's in the index. It's on the side. It might even be in the description here as well. It's a PDF. Enjoy it. So guys, with those out of the way, let's go and have a look at a good trading system for you, support and resistance. Let's see if this will help you in any way, shape or form with your trading. It's a trading edge. Systems are 50-50. This one helps you manage the risk, and it's helped me change my mindset in my life, and it's worked for me over many, many years. So here we go, guys. Check it out. One of your worst trading habits is to follow your losses down. But let's have a look at a quick trading system that we use. What I normally do is I go to the higher time frame to take the trade. So normally I'll take it to, say, a day, put it on a line chart, and try and pick up my support and resistance levels. We've got a resistance level sort of developing in there, so we'll put it in just purely out of interest to see what we've got, if it'll allow me to do that. And then we'll take another one and we'll put it in about there. Let's just see what we got. It looks like a good daily resistance level. Now, what I always tell everyone is don't just rely on the daily support and resistance level, because that is, however, very important, but it's just a guide to see where your main support and resistance is lying on any given day.
Watch out for our Casual Unlimited collection at 23 Merchandise. We supply a range of fashionable clothing made to fit all. Simply look for the merchandise link in the description to order your favorite product today. This is a product from Logical Trading and 23 Merchandise.
So you put the bar charts back in. Why do we use the candles? Because we can see when the green bars of the long trades already have confirmed, and you can see when the short trades have confirmed out of the support and resistance levels. But we're not going to trade on the day. We're going to trade maybe on the 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Let's trade on the 4 hour. We always trade on the 4 hour because it's quite easy. And then you can see when you take this trade where you are. Now, if you were going to take this trade based solely on where it's lying on the day indicator, you wouldn't take the trade, because you would look at it and say, well, oh my goodness, it's in the middle here, so I have to wait for it to get there, or I have to wait for it to get there. But this is not true on this particular trade. Let's draw a trend line in just for interest's sake and see what the trend is like. And you can clearly see that you've got a nice clear uptrend, and you can clearly see that you've got a nice support level on the trend line down here. Here's a little demand area that might give you a trade, and of course a little bit further down is another little demand area which might give you a trade. Those two areas are very, very important, because you're either going to get a long trade out of here, which is pretty possible, because your trend line is here and your demand area is here. This is where the money is waiting to be taken, guys. There's money lying here because there was a previous glitch here. So there's probably some orders lying around waiting in this area for you to grab and go long, and then take it up to your main resistance level. And then if that doesn't work out, let's say that it breaks through and it goes off to the next one. Well, that's pretty straightforward as well, because if it does manage to go there, maybe go there and then come down and then go there, and then it'll go back up again. bit of a W. It always goes back to retest, by the way. So there you go. Comes down to your next demand level, pick it up there, and you're going to get an even better run all the way up to your main resistance. And that's what we do, but it'll probably come down to the first one. The first one is probably your most obvious. The first one has got more possibilities because you've got your trend line here. It'll most likely come down into the first one and then bounce up, and you'll get a nice long trade out of there. That's how you trade support and resistance. Then basically what you do is you put your stop loss. Okay, let me just show you so you get a better idea of where you might want to put your stop loss. But if you took the trade on the first resistance, I would look at, there's your trade, put your stop loss on just below the trend line, just below the trend line, above this next support level or demand level. If you're very risky, you can take it further and maybe take the trade off the next demand level anyway. But if you put your stop loss in this area, you'll be pretty good, and then you'll take profit obviously up here into the main resistance level, because that's where you're expecting the trade to go. It's not going to stop here where it's turning around now, because it hasn't hit resistance yet. It's going to come down here, test this level, and go back up into your main resistance. And that's where you've got to start looking out and saying, oh, well, you know, it's probably going to reach its head here. That's because it's the main resistance and it's on the higher time frame. That's what we put them there for, so we can see where it's going to hit its head. Simple as that, guys. So not too difficult. Hopefully you understood that. Look, watch the other videos, watch all the videos, because that's what gives you all the information, because I keep hammering it on the head over and over and over again, and eventually you might get the idea if you haven't already. It's all about managing your risk. It's all about having a system where you can see where the losses are and where the profits are. So anyway, that is the system, and hopefully that can help you get through the day. What are my 5 worst trading habits? What are my worst trading habits? What are the trading habits that made me change my psychology? The number one problem in the market that I found was my biggest mistake when I was younger was following my losses, trying to average down, trying to get out of the trade in a profit and never take a loss. In other words, never lose anything, trying to hedge my bets, trying to beat the market in one way or another. That was one of my biggest mistakes, and you guys are probably going to find that it's one of your biggest mistakes as well. But what I did to resolve that mistake is I switched my mindset around, and I saw when I was going into a profit and I changed it to like I was going in a loss, and I would average it up and started making bigger profits. And when I was going into a loss, I'd look at it as, oh, quickly I made a profit, and actually you've made a loss and get out. And when you switch your mindset around, you actually fix that mistake quite well. So that was one of the biggest mistakes I used to make. But then number 2, the biggest mistake that I used to make was being impatient, preempting a trade, getting into a trade before it was actually a trade. So you would see the pattern in the market, you'd see the pattern developing, you'd think, I want to get in before this runs away from me. In other words, I want to make more profit. That's the psychology behind it. I want to make more profit, so I jump in too early. And the minute you do that, guys, do you know what the trade does to you? Well, you can tell me, can't you? It always goes the other way. It always runs away and goes off in another direction. Don't preempt things. Don't jump the trades. Wait for confirmations and then get into the trade. That's that mistake. Fixed. But what's the third most important mistake that you make in the market? Jumping out of trades far too early. You go into profit and you jump out of the trade as soon as it gets into profit. That's your third biggest mistake. Not following your profits, not letting them run, and not adding to the profits to make more money with the profits. That's one of the worst mistakes that you can possibly make in the stock market, because when a trade has gone into profit, that's when you should be taking the trade. That's the moment when you want to be taking that trade extra, adding to it, making it better. And as I said in the beginning with the losses, same thing, switch your mindset around and that trade will become so much better for you. What's the fourth? And that is a big one, and that is changing my system every 5 minutes. What I used to do is go into the stock market and change the system because you made a few losses. So you tweak the system that you've got, and then I'd go from moving averages to MACDs, and then I'd change it to an RSI system, system, or I change it to a moving average crossover system, or then I'd use Fibonacci, or then guys, pick a system and stick with it and manage your risk with that system. Don't change the system every 5 minutes. And the last big mistake that I found that cost me a lot was when I was winning and when I was doing really, really well in the stock market, what I would do is I would risk higher amounts, risk more money. So in other words, if you're trading contracts or futures or whatever, you know that you're in gear trading. So if you're risking $1,000 and you start winning, you think, well, if I'm winning so much, why don't I risk $2,000? Why don't I risk $5,000? Why don't I turn this into a huge account? Because I'm doing so well. I've turned $1,000 into $49,000 in a matter of a few months. So surely I can turn that $49,000 into $1 million, because that's the way we think. And then what I would do is I would risk more, put more money in and think, well, I'm so good at this, I can just throw money at it. And when you do that, you know what the market does. You guys can tell me what the market does. Bites your ass, doesn't it? It gets you. It catches you. It's just that one trade that goes against you and it goes wrong. Maybe it's at that time when the S&P decides, I've had enough. Off I go, crash. And you're like, oh crap. And you follow it down. And what do? Mistake number 1, follow your losses all the way down, because this is impossible. What's happening here is just impossible, because I won the last 10 trades. How is it possible that I'm losing this trade? Follow it down, follow the loss, average down, because this can't be happening. Does that sound familiar to you in any way? Perhaps, because it should. Those are one of the mistakes, and I don't have to tell you how to correct that, guys. Just stop it, just correct it, and you'll be fine. So guys, those are the mistakes. That's the trading system. That's how we roll, and try and get rid of the mistakes, guys. Try and push them out of the system. It's all in the head. It's all in the psychology. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, watch the last video and enjoy it, and watch all the other videos, because I keep going on about the same thing over and over again. Nothing changes. Till next time, guys. Cheers, thanks, and bye.